Let's take a look at some more spoilers from Murders at Karlov Manor. First up, we have Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. He is a Gruul Centaur druid that gives our creatures haste, and reads, whenever one or more face-down creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. And whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. Though we are unfortunately not getting a Centaur tribal commander with this one, we have an interesting way to play with manifested, morphed, and cloaked cards. We have some interesting options to play around with for this deck. He lets us swing fearlessly with our face-down creatures, and we will be able to trigger some face-up abilities for free when creatures we control die. Next up, we have Niv Mizzet, Guild Pact. This new version of Niv has flying and hexproof from multicolored, and reads, whenever Niv Mizzet, Guild Pact deals combat damage to a player, it deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards, and you gain X life, where X is the number of different color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors. This one is a cool card for sure, and we can build this in a lot of different ways. One thing is for certain, we want lots of permanents that are exactly 2 colors. If you pack this deck with indestructible gods from Theros, things could get ugly fast. We have a new Azorius instant that could fit well into some artifact decks looking for token generation and card draw. Officious Interrogation is a 2-drop instant that reads, this spell costs white-blue, more to cast for each target beyond the first. And choose any number of target players. Investigate X times, where X is the total number of creatures those players control. This is basically an Azorius Dockside Extortionist except for clue tokens. It will fit well into many decks, and at 2 mana is a must-include in some specific builds. Boros has a nice Goad-style commander with Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser. She is a 4-drop that has vigilance and reads, whenever Nelly Borka, Impulsive Accuser attacks, suspect target creature, then goad all suspected creatures. A suspected creature has menace and can't block. And whenever one or more creatures an opponent controls deal combat damage to one or more of your opponents, you and the controller of those creatures each draw a card. She gives us a way to goad our opponent's creatures and incentivize swinging at anyone but ourselves with her card draw ability. We should run other ways of goading our opponent's creatures in case it is too dangerous for her to swing. The fact that she can suspect target creature means it might be easier, due to a suspected creature not being able to block. But eventually our opponents will have plenty of blockers. We've got a cool Bant commander coming with Morska, Undersea Sleuth. It reads, you have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate. And whenever you draw your second card each turn, put 2+1/+1 counters on Morska. This commander has a nice mana cost for all the benefit we are getting. We can lean into the clue or artifact token theme, or focus on card draw and make Morska bigger for a large unblockable swing to win the game. Next up we have Mirko, Obsessive Theorist. Mirko is a 3-drop vampire detective with flying and vigilance and reads, whenever you surveil, put a +1/+1 counter on Mirko. At the beginning of your end step, you may return target creature card with power less than Mirko's from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Surveil is getting more commander support with this one. We will be able to toss creatures into our graveyard and immediately recur them with Mirko's ability. The fact that Mirko gets vigilance is an underrated keyword on this card, as we can swing and keep Mirko up as a large blocker as well. We may see some pretty insane decks with this one. White just got a major upgrade with Trouble in Pairs. It's a 4-drop enchantment that reads, if an opponent would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. This is going to be a must-run in quite a few white decks. It's going to replace Mangara the Diplomat and perhaps even Smuggler's Share in some instances. It also has the added benefit of skipping extra turns if your opponents are pulling any shenanigans. Though if they are really desperate for it, they will likely find a way to remove it. We are finally getting good white card draw options, and I look forward to upgrading some decks with this one. Marvo, Deep Operative is our next spoiler. It's a Dimir 5-drop that reads, Whenever Marvo deep operative attacks clash with defending player, whenever you win a clash, draw a card. Then you may cast a spell from your hand with mana value 8 or less without paying its mana cost. To clash, each clashing player reveals the top card of their library, then puts that card on the top or bottom. A player wins if their card had a higher mana value. If we pack this deck with some large bombs, our opponents are going to have to deal with Marvo quickly, or things are going to get out of hand for them. Lastly, I have to mention Essex Fractal Bloom. She's a 6-drop Simic commander that has flying and reads, the first time you would create one or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than Essex Fractal Bloom and create that many tokens that are copies of that creature. This one looks exciting if you tune it correctly. We will obviously need some good ramp, but once we have powerful creatures to copy and token generators, our board will quickly become unstoppable. Just make sure to include some protection for these creatures. Comment with your favorite spoilers from the set and what you are most excited to build. Like, comment, and subscribe for more Commander content. Thanks for watching.